Good, happy Wednesday morning, December 19, 2018. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, Rochester police investigate possible attempted murder-suicide after victim calls 911. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Don't miss this week's WMUR Holiday Specials, brought to you by Dartmouth Hitchcock. Wishing you a happy and healthy holiday season.
Rochester first responders finding a 47-year-old man dead inside this home on Sunrise Drive after a 911 call at 6:39 this morning from a woman inside.
Male appears to be deceased. Female is conscious and breathing, alert at this time with one gunshot wound.
Turned out to be a 45-year-old female victim who had just been shot, and she stated that her husband shot her and then turned the gun on himself.
She was taken to Portsmouth Hospital with serious injuries. The investigation is ongoing, but police say prior to this they had no reports of domestic violence at the address. The couple does have children, but none were home at the time, told by counselors at the middle and high schools.
So they got a team in place with the school resource officers. Victims Inc. is a company out of Rochester that deals with these type of situations, and an older sibling who's of age. All went to the schools together to notify the children.
A neighbor who didn't want to go on camera says she shared greetings with the father yesterday and that they seem to be loving parents, all, including first responders, shocked and saddened.
To be a week before Christmas, knowing what the children could have been parentless. I don't know the status of the female, but it does take an impact on the officers that respond there and see this and have to deal with it.
Those children are staying with relatives. It will be up to the medical examiner's office, according to the police department, to officially rule this, though, an attempted murder-suicide. We're live at the Seacoast Bureau. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Judge denies Owen Labree's request to have sexual assault jail term suspended. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Every bedroom set here at Ippolito's is made in the USA. The big box stores and chain stores import 90%.
Owen Labree back before the same judge who sentenced him to a year in jail. He already served 2 months before being released pending appeals. Now his attorney argues the rest of his sentence should be shortened.
The individual who sits before you now as a 22-year-old young man is a very different individual than had appeared in this courtroom at the age of 18. He does have a great deal of remorse for his behavior while a student at the St. Paul School.
Labree was convicted in 2015 of sexually assaulting a 15-year-old classmate while attending St. Paul's School in Concord. He was an 18-year-old senior at the time. He was also convicted of using a computer to lure a minor and now must register as a sex offender. The prosecution argued he should serve his full sentence. The judge agreed, saying justice is priority.
I think given the crimes and the circumstances, that it is just not appropriate to amend the sentence at this time.
Chessie Prout issued a statement saying, "What I wanted then is what I want now at age 20, accountability. Today's decision is important because it shows survivors that people are listening." Legal analyst Patricia LaFrance says Labrie could be released early with good behavior.
Since he's already served 2 months, then it would mean, yes, he could be out in 6 months.
And the judge did accept a request from Owen Labrie's attorneys for him to report to jail the morning after Christmas. Labrie still has a pending appeal for a new trial. Live in studio tonight, Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. SNHU student create prosthetic arm extender for 4-year-old girl. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Don't miss this week's WMUR holiday specials, brought to you by Dartmouth Hitchcock. Wishing you a happy and healthy holiday season.
Maggie Sloboda has been riding bikes with her Oma since she was a baby in the back seat.
We all bike together. We go on family vacations.
But this is the first time the Massachusetts 4-year-old is riding like this. This prosthetic arm extender means she can now ride without training wheels, thanks to her Oma. You see, Maggie was born without a lower right arm.
She can navigate the bike with her arm and her hands, but she has to lean over quite far.
Her grandma works at Southern New Hampshire University and asked students to help.
We weren't looking for a way to fix her, but we were looking for a way to fix her bike that didn't meet her needs.
A biology and mechanical engineering student teamed up to 3D print 2 prototypes for Maggie to test.
How about this one?
It's amazing to put on.
Maggie can move them from bike to bike as she grows, giving her a lifetime of independence.
Maggie is absolutely adorable to work with, and she is so excited about this as well.
It is the best Christmas present this family could ask for. Not just for Maggie, but for Oma, too.
It's been really important to all of us as in the family to make sure that she knows that whatever she sets her mind to, she can do.
And she certainly can. You can see Maggie just loves being on the go, and she can with that extension. She's also asking for one more thing this Christmas, a pink unicorn with batteries so she can ride it to school.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Very cool indeed. New emergency winter shelter opens in Concord. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Suzanne Rowntree.
Don't miss this week's WMUR holiday specials, brought to you by Dartmouth Hitchcock. Wishing you a happy and healthy holiday season.
Just in the nick of time, the Concord Coalition Against Homelessness was able to open the doors of its new permanent shelter at 238 North Main Street. Inside are 20 bunks, offering 40 beds to the city's homeless population.
We served 13 people last night, which this is similar to years past where it would open midwinter and it would start out with 15 or 20 people and gradually grow to an average of 35 a night over the past 3 years.
In years past, the shelters were opened at various churches in the city. This facility was built by volunteers.
The most vulnerable people in Concord who have no other place to go have a place to be warm on the winter nights.
With winter officially beginning this week, staying warm is on the minds of many. On Elm Street in Manchester this afternoon, we ran across people who say, indeed, once again this season, baby, it's cold outside.
We're long overdue for some cold today. Well, this season, because last week was pretty nice. But yeah, it's been very cold.
I feel like the cold months have shifted about a month, right? Everything's getting colder a little later and a little longer.
You know what? Christmas spirit must go on.
Now, the winds also inconvenienced several hundred people across the Granite State today as they lost power because of down power lines. But just minutes ago, I spoke with officials from Eversource. They say they are down to less than 5 customers without power, and they'll work until everyone's back online. Live in Manchester, Suzanne Rowntree, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire Attorney General's Office investigating 78 cases of potential voter fraud. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Don't miss this week's WMUR holiday specials, brought to you by Dartmouth Hitchcock. Wishing you a happy and healthy holiday season.
This week, a grand jury indicted 45-year-old Michael Lewis on a charge he cast a ballot for the 2016 general election in Hooksett, where prosecutors say he didn't meet the domicile requirements.
On the day of voting that we were talking about, my officers were called to the area for a suspicious vehicle on the side of the road.
Hooksett police made contact with Lewis at a polling location.
His story seemed suspicious about why he was in the area. He stated that he was there to vote, but he had a Florida driver's license on him. He told us that he lived at an address in Hooksett, so we went to that address to confirm and found that he did not live there.
Police say Lewis was going in and out of his own car and possibly looking into another vehicle.
At some point, there was a call to us from the polls that he was turned away. We're not sure if he voted or not, and he ran out of the area and was somewhat in the woods, so that all was suspicious to us.
The New Hampshire Attorney General's office says since the November 2016 general election, 4 people have been indicted on criminal charges for wrongful voting. There were 38 complaints. 21 of those have been closed as unfounded. Hooksett police say this case is rare for them.
We haven't been called to before. My officers did a really good job of recognizing that day that it wasn't just a suspicious person.
And the AG's office says they're also investigating 60 potential cases of possible double voting. For more on that, you can go to WMUR.com. In Hooksett, Jessica Moran, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Feds needs to take wait and see approach to rate hikes for stocks to go sustained rally. The stock market's early day rally on Tuesday was a dress rehearsal for what could happen in the Federal Reserve says Wednesday that it will take a wait-and-see approach on its interest rate policy, CNBC's Jim Cramer said as stocks reversed into the close. landmark criminal justice reform bill clears Senate. In one of this Congress' final acts, the Senate overwhelmingly approved the most significant change in a generation to prison sentencing laws late Tuesday evening, offering much-needed reforms to the nation's criminal justice system. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.